Nigeria, by extension, Africa, is faced with a lot of challenges. The growing youth population with little engagement, that is a ticking time bomb. We are a blessed people with diverse culture and highly cerebral minds who have a lot to say. And yes, we are talking. It is important we drive the right conversation that informs, inspires, influences thought and action. If we say there's beauty in our diversity, then let us embrace our diverse culture. We must continue to courageously be the voice of transformation as we are the hope for the future. Yesterday's conversations shape today. What are you saying to shape your tomorrow? We know you have a lot to say, and we are here to hear you.
Good afternoon. I am Adebanke Odunui, and this is a news brief. The All Progressives Congress has postponed its special convention for presidential primary for the 2023 general election from May 29th to June 6th. National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Felix Morka, announced this in a statement hours after the Independent National Electoral Commission extended the deadline for primaries to conduct their primaries. INEC announced the extension of deadline for political parties to conduct their primaries by 6 days, which is from the 4th to 9th of June. Benue State governorship primary election of the APC has commenced across the 23 local government areas in the state. Chairman of the electoral panel for the election, Dr. Peter Oji, briefed newsmen on the processes involved in the exercise at the party secretariat in Makurdi, the state capital. The report.
Party delegates have been casting their votes in different state governorship primaries for whom they think the cap fits. In Benue State, that day of decision is now upon the APC. Chairman of the electoral panel for the election is Dr. Peter Oje. Commenting on the mode of the primary election, he stated that the leadership of the party in the state had earlier adopted the direct method of conducting its governorship primary election. This was reaffirmed by the National Executive Council of the party in accordance with the amended Electoral Act 2022.
We had stakeholders of the party, including, of course, our aspirants for the office of governor of Benue State. And we treat them accordingly in tandem with the rules and regulations that were handed over to us.
The panel chairman stated that the materials for the primary election arrived in the state late due to unavoidable circumstances from the national body. He apologized for any inconvenience the delay may cause the parties involved. He said that the voting was by option A4, where registered members of the party were expected to cast their votes. Dr. Oje added that collation of the results from the various local governments would begin by 2 p.m. at the party secretariat, after which there will be a special congress at Apako Stadium later in the day to announce the winner. He denied any notice of court suit against the exercise as speculated in some sections of the media and promised a free, fair and transparent primaries.
Apologies for that. We'll bring you the remaining report shortly. The patient of delegates for the All Progressives Congress in Ikpogba local government area of Nigeria was put to a stretch for several hours as they had to wait till nightfall to choose their representative in their party primaries. Speaking with Plus TV News crew, the eventual winners of the primary expressed their joy for clinching the party's tickets ahead of the 2023 general elections.
I actually want to appreciate the delegates for the manner they conducted themselves during the exercise. The exercise started late, but I want to appreciate them again to have stayed this late to ensure that they cast their votes for the respective aspirants. I want to appreciate the people of Ikobaha local government, and I want to tell them that I will not disappoint them, having given me their mandates to represent them in the Edo State House of Assembly in the forthcoming general election.
At the end of the voting, the counting was done. This is the result. Matthew Umeli had 7 votes. While Ali had 21 votes, Ijeon Anthony had 16 votes, while Crosby Eric had 53 votes. But the Baba confirmed me as a returning officer of the federal constituency. I hereby declare Crosby Eric as the winner of the
I want to congratulate myself, thank my teaming supporters, my family, and of course God Almighty for everything that happened.
Fresh political crisis is brewing in the Rivers State chapter of the APC as one of the governorship aspirants, Senator Magnus Abe, has vowed not to accept the outcome of the party's governorship primary. At a press briefing at his campaign office in Port Harcourt, Senator Abe said the process that produced the delegates for the primary was not credible. He also vowed that he would not withdraw from the 2023 general governorship race.
In Rivers State, the APC governorship primary was still being conducted at the Adoki Amisimeka Stadium in Port Harcourt when it began to bubble. One of the governorship aspirants, Senator Magnus Abe, was getting uncomfortable with the process. With the look of things, it just wasn't going to have it. Whatever the outcome was, it was going to throw it all in the bin, but not his ambition.
Like I stated at the beginning of this whole thing when I declared, I said I will not accept the outcome of any process that is not just, that is not fair, that is not equitable, and that is not inclusive. The indirect primaries being conducted today by the former Minister of Transportation and his cronies in the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State clearly does not meet that standard. And for that reason, while I have decided not to participate, not to withdraw out of respect for the party, I want to say clearly that I will not accept the outcome.
Senator Abe assured his supporters that his name would be on the ballot for the state governorship election in March 2023.
No one individual, however powerful, however well-connected, however wealthy, will decide for all of us. You will have that opportunity to decide who our next governor will be.
Meanwhile, the winner of the primary, Tony Cole, in his acceptance speech called on Senator Abe to sheath his sword and join hands with him to deliver victory for the party in the 2023 governorship election in Rivers State.
I want to state firmly that we have always said that as soon as anyone emerges through the primaries, that we will all come together as one family to support. I had made the promise that if I was not the one that emerged from this primaries, I would support everyone, including Senator Magnus Abe.
Perhaps this is just Act 2, Scene 3 of the episode that may later unfold in Rivers APC.
If you're not satisfied with the outcome of the just concluded primaries, go and submit your petition before the appeal court. We may have a week to entertain all appeals. This was the admonition of former Deputy National Vice Chairman, Southwest of the PDP Chief Bode George, while briefing newsmen on the outcome of the party's primary in Lagos. Plus TV News correspondent Love Ikuku Oedokun tells us more.
These were PDP leaders in Lagos at a news briefing after the party's primaries in the state. Chief Bode George, former Deputy National Chairman of the PDP, took time to appreciate members for their roles in ensuring successful primary elections across the state. He reminded members that the journey to 2023 had just begun. Having his eyes on winning the 2023 elections, he harped on the need for party members to embrace unity and close ranks in order to have a successful outing.
We could start with thanksgiving prayer for the Almighty God that he delivered his wishes. And I also want to thank our people for being steadfast. The journey to 2023 is just starting. You all must be ready, like Freddie. Don't bother to fight anybody.
Chief George warns that a divided house is a defeated house. He appeals to those aggrieved over their loss in the primaries to channel their grievances to the appeal committee of the party for adequate actions before June 3rd.
Who knew that this scenario would be like this? Right across the length and breadth of this country, Lagos was peaceful. The congresses went well. Of course, it can't be 100% perfect. No human being is perfect. But I will appeal to the managers of the party in Abuja to do the needful before the 3rd of June, when all names must enter.
He also employed members to pledge their unalloyed loyalty to the party, saying that there is no perfect system anywhere. From Lagos, Love Ikuku Oyedoku, Plus TV News.
After many crises, the People's Democratic Party (PDP) Imo State has finally conducted its House of Assembly and National Assembly primaries. The process, which was described as very peaceful, free and fair by many people, saw new faces emerging as the candidate of the party for the House of Assembly and National Assembly election. For Imo State Senatorial District, the former Secretary to the State Government, Uche Onyeagucha, defeated the incumbent Senator Francis Onyewuchi, while Jones Onyeriri emerged candidate for Imo West Senatorial and Emmanuel Okewulono for Imo North Senatorial candidate.
I am particularly grateful to God, but I owe all the people who made this possible. It is not by my might, it is not by my ability, it is not by my strength. It is simply by the grace. I will go to all my opponents, and you can see I have already met with Basil. I am not in any way claiming any superiority over anybody. I will humble myself to go to the opponents and try to be at peace with them so that we can work as a team. Never had a better free and fair and credible process than this in the history of Imo State. I'm sure you witnessed what happened today. I thank God for the selection of the panel. So the glory goes to the National Chairman and the National Secretary. And also,
meanwhile, two sitting Federal House members, Honorable Bede Eke and Henry Onwaba, lost their tickets to return the House for a third term. Reacting to the election, most of the candidates commended the process.
Honestly, you can see the ovation, you can see the standing ovation received when the result was announced. That is the reflection of people's minds.
We fought hard for the process to be clean, and I can tell you that the process was clean. The accreditation was okay, the security agencies did their job, the electoral officials of the party did a good job, and people did a good job, who played by the rule. But the most important is that
the Colleges of Education Academic Staff Union has issued a 21-day ultimatum to the government asking it to urgently address the teething issues in contention of phase industrial action. The Vice President and Zonal Coordinator, North Central Zone, Noah Danami, during a press conference in Jos, lamented the continuous and outright neglect by government, the plight of the COEs, which he said had adversely affected the smooth running of these institutions that are vested with the constitutional responsibility of training the manpower needs of the primary and junior secondary school levels. The Vice President noted that any strike allowed would be counterproductive to the realization of the laudable goals for which the COEs were established and the general growth and development of the education sector for our nation. River State Governor Nyesom Wike said the prosecution of Rotimi Amaechi over an alleged 96 billion naira fraud will depend on leaders of the state. He was speaking during the live broadcast after the Supreme Court dismissed an appeal filed by Amaechi over the probe.
You say the state government has no power to set up. No, the court said no, they have power to set up the presidential panel of inquiry. They have. So the money that was collected with Sahara Energy and Toyo Coal, it is for the leaders of the state to say, look, should we go ahead and file charges against Rotimi Amaechi and his cohorts, or should we allow it to be? It is for the state. So the state will meet and agree on what next to do. But the point is that let the world know that nobody.
Meanwhile, Wike had set up a panel to probe Amaechi's dealings after he became governor, and the Supreme Court case was an attempt by the former governor to set aside the recommendations of the panel. The police command in Bauchi has arrested 5 suspected internet fraudsters undergoing training in the state. The spokesman of the command, SP Ahmed Wakil, who confirmed the arrest in a statement in Bauchi, said operatives of the command, acting on credible intelligence, raided a hideout where the suspected cyber criminals were undergoing training in Bauchi metropolis. He listed the suspects to include Emmanuel Saleh Elias with Black, 22, Matthias Akroni Elias Market, 20, Patience Nuhu, 21 years old, Bulus Haruna, 18, and Kingsley Simon, 19 years old. And in commemoration of Children's Day celebration, the recognition of the role played by children in each family and the need to celebrate and make them feel loved and important, Nigerians recounted some of their childhood memories and the need to help out of school children. That's on Street Views.
My childhood was full of fun. I'm the last born of my mom, and I'm always with her everywhere. So, I would like my children to go abroad for holidays. So I didn't have that privilege.
And the fun was always there. We'll go to the back of the school where we'll have no disturbance, me and my friends. We'll just be there, and then we'll be throwing this rubber band. I guess you should be able to remember what that means. So it's always very fun.
We'll celebrate them, they'll give them gifts. I prefer to go to school.
Some are walking on the streets doing nothing. So we need assistance from the government. You can see my daughter, she's here today to help me, just to keep her company up today, not to roam about.
I didn't really grow up with my parents. I stayed with my stepmom. So though she was not too bad, but my own children, of course, by God's enablement, they will stay with me, they will grow up with me, and I will train them. You know, there's a difference when you train your own personal child that you give birth to. It's always different.
I really enjoy my kids simply because my father trained us very well. Whenever the children is approaching, they will buy us white socks, white tennis. That's at that material time. So we go to stadium or we go to school, we go to match, we do this, we do that. So it was really fun and very, very awesome. All I want for my children is best for them, academically sound. And I want to treat them in the way of the Lord. And I want them to become great, especially in this universe we are.
The children's play, I miss that a whole lot. If I try to picture it, going back to it, I'm like, some of my siblings and younger ones that look up to me like, uncle, why are you playing like this? And didn't you know you are old? I'm like, because I miss that.
I don't feel like celebrating Children's Day. Instead of me celebrating, I'm helping my mom to sell food stuff. And I think government should help them to provide parents shelters and take them to the motherless baby home, take them to schools, feed them and do everything they need.
And in other parts of Africa, African leaders are gathering for a summit meeting in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, with combating violent extremism, stopping the recent run of military coup seen in Africa, and getting help to the hungry all on the agenda. While the leaders meet, help can't come soon enough for the people of the town of Djabo in Burkina Faso's far north, who are faced with all the challenges: extremism, drought, coups. In the Sahel region, close to the border with Mali, Djabo has effectively been under siege by jihadist extremists since February, as the extremists have restricted movement in and out of the city and cut water supplies. And outside Africa, newly elected Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has reiterated his party's election proposal to increase in security and aid support in the Pacific region. The comments come just hours after the Samoan government announced it had signed a bilateral agreement with China. The government's plan includes an increase of $525 million in foreign aid, the development of an Australian Pacific Defence School, and an increase of funding for the Pacific Maritime Security Program, which involves providing support for aerial surveillance activities.
We are friends with our Pacific Island neighbours. We know that they're sovereign nations and have a right to determine their own future. We want to be partners with them, though. All of our engagement in the Pacific will be no strings attached. It'll be one that respect the sovereignty of those nations, but one that also understands the role that we have historically played since the Second World War. It's unfortunate that in recent times there's been not a step up so much as a stuff up in terms of the relations with our Pacific Island neighbours. My government intends to engage in a cooperative and respectful.
An Indonesian ship with 43 people on board capsized off Indonesia's Sulawesi island after it ran out of fuel. The search and rescue agency said as such continued for 26 people who remained missing. The motorboat that had left Pauteri Port Makassar, city capital of South Sulawesi province, on Thursday midnight was reported missing the next day when it failed to arrive its destination. Authorities are of the opinion that the accident was caused by a fuel shortage and bad weather, as Indonesia's weather agency had warned of waves up to 2.5 meters in Makassar Strait areas, and that could cause safety risks. And in business news, the total amount disbursed under the Anchor Borrowers Program of the CBN rose to 1.01 trillion naira as of the end of April. Figures obtained from the CBN's reports from members of its Monetary Policy Committee said between January and February 2022, the bank disbursed 29.67 billion naira under the Anchor Borrowers Program for the procurement of inputs and cultivation of maize, rice, and wheat through crops that are hitherto having significant concerns of FX demand. These disbursements bring the total under the program to over 4.52 million smallholder farmers cultivating 21 commodities across the country, coming to a total of 975.61 billion naira. And in entertainment news, Afrobeat legend Femi Kuti and his first son Made have teamed up for a joint show tagged Father and Son The Experience. The Chief Executive Officer, FK Management, the company behind the show, Funke Kuti, who made the disclosure in Lagos, said that this was coming many weeks after the Father and Son's Grammy nomination experience for their joint album Legacy. According to her, both Father and Son are gearing up for the joint concert scheduled to hold at the New Africa Shrine on June 5th, with a promise to leave fans asking for more. And moving on to sports news, Rafael Nadal has hammered Dutch 26-seed Botic van de Zandschulp 6-3, 6-2, 6-4 in the French Open third round to remain on course for a potential mouth-watering showdown against world number 1 Novak Djokovic in the quarter-finals. Fifth seed Nadal has won a record 13 Roland Garros titles and 21 majors, but the Spaniard was denied last year when he went down in the semi-finals to eventual champion Djokovic. Around the same time on nearby court, Philippe Chatrier, the Serbian, also put on a prolific display to book his spot in the fourth round with a 6-3, 6-3, 6-2 win over Slovenia's Aljaz Bedene to stay in the hunt for a record-equaling 21st Grand Slam.
He's my uncle. I don't think he will be able to want me to lose, without a doubt, but he's a professional and he's with another player. I don't know what's going to happen, if he's going to stay in the box or not, but I don't care. I have zero problem with that. So it's not a story at all for me, you know. I know what's the feelings that we have between each other. I know he wants the best for me, and now he's helping another player, but honestly, for me, it's zero problem that, and I know he wants.
And that's News Brief. For more stories, please follow us on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa and Plus TV Africa Lifestyle. I am Adibanke Odunuri. Thank you for watching.
Hello and welcome to Space and Style, a property show designed to connect various stakeholders across the property value chain. We can also provide realistic solutions and deepen your knowledge about the interesting world of real estate. We shall showcase architectural design, interior design trends, lifestyle and real-time property news updates, and the right way to navigate through property development and investment. Join me every week on this channel as I take you through an exciting journey in the world of real estate.
Space and Style, 6:30 p.m. on Saturdays and 5:30 p.m. on Wednesdays.
How can we have peace without justice?
Plus Politics. It's not just another political conversation, it's about keeping you in the know. The relevant interviews, asking the tough questions to those that matter. Get the answers you need. Does it mean that the people who were injured, people who were shot at, those who were involved in that stampede are not going to get justice?
It is unfortunate, it is sad that we have a government of deaf and dumb.
Analysis from top experts.
The last election was not really an election.
We feel that Obasanjo has a very special place in his heart for hating Ijaw people.
I think it really boils down to two things. One, trust and accountability.
Plus Politics, every weeknight at 7 p.m. on Plus TV Africa.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408, or send an email to marketing@plustvafrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
Welcome to Ladies Talking Business. I'm your host, Rotimi Amaechi. On this show, we break down the concept of business to its simplest form. Our guest today is Sandra Chukwudozie, the Chief Executive Officer at Salfa Energy. She once worked with the United Nations Industrial Development Organization as a sustainable development consultant with focus on clean energy and energy efficiency in industrial development for developing countries. She is a certified NLP Master Practitioner from the NLP Center of New York. She is passionate about creating and implementing business models for delivering off-grid solar solutions to communities and micro-enterprises in Nigeria. Happy to have you on the show today, Sandra. Well, Sandra is the hot cake. But for those who don't know why I call her the hot cake, you would find out very soon. But just before we go into that, let's have a bit of a background about the energy sector in Nigeria. What makes up the energy sector?
So very simply put, the energy sector is made up of all the industries that are involved in the production and sale of energy. Okay. And so, for example, you have fossil fuels, oil and gas, the extraction and the refining, which gives you, your petrol, your diesel, your LPG, and then you move down to electricity, actually. How do we generate electricity? How do we distribute? And how do we sell it? We also have renewable energy, which is a hot cake, to borrow your words. So that is, the solar, wind, hydro, geothermal, biomass. And what you've seen recently in current times is that the world is moving away from fossil fuels as a result of the fact that
So when you say fossil fuels, that's like the regular thing we use?
Yes, exactly. Okay. So it's moving away from that, coming to clean energy, trying to make sure that we are not polluting and emitting these harmful gases into the atmosphere. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Okay. So talking about renewable energy.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how it works in Nigeria?
Okay, so let's talk about the energy mix, right? So you have biomass and hydro contributing vastly to the energy mix of Nigeria. And that's because biomass, you get it from, wastage of plants and animals. Your hydro, we have dams across Nigeria, so that's very easy. But now, solar is a fast-growing renewable energy just because of two main reasons. The first is that globally, the cost of solar panels are dropping significantly, and battery costs also are dropping significantly as well. But aside that, the beauty of solar is that it is decentralized. And what it means is that it can go to different locations across the country and provide power. Okay. So, for example, a rural customer who is in maybe a village, a farmer woman that is coming back home, that will use a kerosene lamp to power her house, or trek miles to go and charge her phone somewhere. You can give her a solution that can give her light in the house that is clean, charge her phone at her own affordable rates. And so that's why solar has grown really fast. And Nigeria right now, the policies in place, Renewable Energy Master Plan is helping to ensure that by 2030, 38% of our energy mix is being brought about by renewable energy. But implementation in that regard is a different story.
Implementation is always a thing in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you actually think that by 2030 for 2030 the projection is for how many percent? 38%. So do you actually think that's possible?
So honestly, with the fact that we've ratified the Conference of Parties Agreements, Paris Agreement, COP21, and there's a lot of funding coming in from overseas, I mean hundreds of billions of dollars coming into developing countries, I believe that we'll get there. I'm optimistic.
Optimistic, yeah. I think that's the way to go. Okay, so this renewable energy sector, what influence does it have on the Nigerian economy?
Oh, wow. Honestly, okay, so for me, I'll probably go into this later, but what made me really fall in love with renewables is the fact that it has a promise that it offers. And that promise is that it's providing clean, affordable, reliable, sustainable energy for all. And I think it's really important to say this because if you look at the population, over 43% do not have access to reliable energy. It's a big deal. I mean, and let's break that down, right? It sounds, okay, 43, what does that mean? You have over 25 million households and 10 million SMEs that can't even have access to clean energy. So with that promise alone, it is like a transition to something new. And so with that, we're able to see that clean energy holds a promise for Nigeria.
Okay. So what impact will it have on the economy financially as well? Do you think it's going to be like a money maker for the economy?
So basically, let's go deeper with it, right? There are different industries that are going to be impacted. You have health, you have education, you have food security, and you have climate change, environment, and all that. But for me, the most exciting part of it is looking at food security. We know that right now, inflation is high in Nigeria, and that's as a result of food. Farmers are producing lots of goods, but it's being perished during the way to the market. Why is that? We don't have cold storage for these foods. So how do we provide a solution that was going to help that industry avoid post-harvest loss? And that is through renewable energy. We have a lot of companies now offering cold storage across the nation. You bring in your produces, your vegetables, your fruits, your meat, and they store it in their cold storage units. And this helps actually reduce a lot of this wastage. You also have, for example, hospitals. We saw during the COVID-19 pandemic that a lot of primary healthcare institutions were not able to store vaccinations, weren't even able to carry on basic operations for pregnant
even lab
women.
tests was a problem carrying them out.
So like 2019 COVID period, like you saw a lot of solar companies actually leading the path. You know, decentralized solar. They go into a primary healthcare service. They would deploy systems for them that would help them store their vaccines, and that really gave credence to the industry and showed that actually this energy industry is one that can actually take Nigeria to the next level. So honestly, I could go on and on. I could even go into education and tell you that right now, ICT in Nigeria is a problem because you don't have power to use your computers in the schools, right? So when you bring in solar, you have teachers who are able to have a more stable timetable to be able to teach these kids how to use computers, even helping them study late into the night. These are ways that solar is really bridging the gap. Trading, we know that this country, I mean, the backbone of this country is SMEs. You know, so what is the issue that SMEs are having? It is around the cost of fueling. They are the ones that provide their own power, and it takes away the money that should be put into their profits to grow their businesses, to even, I mean, scale up in different parts of the country. But with solar energy, we're seeing that these people, for example, are able to save a lot of the funds that they waste on fueling and dieseling.
You know, every time I have a guest here and I ask them for their main challenges in business, most times the first I get is power.
Absolutely. It's the one thing. Any household, any business is power. And that's why solar is here.
So while we are still talking about this renewable energy bit, how do you think we can push this further, especially with the kids, with people out there that are not even really learned, or would I say that are kind of semi-literate? How can we really push this solar narrative to them?
That's a very good question, because right now, like I said earlier, there are lots of policies in place that are trying to ensure that solar is being told to the general public. And it's important that we reach these people through the private sector. For example, a company like mine, what we do is that we go into remote areas, we meet with the farmers, the sole traders, and we speak to them about solar, because for them, they feel like they are left behind. They rely on their kerosene lamps. Exactly. So we go there and we actually do a lot of product demonstrations. We show them how these products work, that they can actually help you, give you lights, charge your phone, even help you listen to the news, watch your TV. Some people, for example, in those areas do not even understand what it means to have solar energy. And the beauty now is that global organizations like the World Bank are coming and saying to companies like mine, it's a very difficult task to go into these rural areas, but we will fund you. So go in there, deploy, show us you can do it, and we'll give you result-based financing that will help you continue to scale up. So I think with this kind of funding in place, we're actually going to be able to reach these people.
Amazing, Sandra. We'll talk more about it shortly. We will be back for more renewable energy conversations with Sandra after the break.
For upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to CrossTrending. I am Booking November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408, or send an email to marketing@plustvafrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
I'm still here with Sandra Chukwudozie, the CEO of Salfa Energy. Now to why I call you the hot cake. Congratulations on the $1 million investment deal.
It's a team effort.
That's why I said you're the hot cake. So let's talk about the investment deal. What problems are the funds going to cater to?
So the issue that I had initially founding the business was around product design, because Nigerian customers are very price conscious and they're also very aspirational. They want a system that can power their fridge, their freezer, their whole life essentially. So we had to design products that catered to that, and we were successful because it gained traction within the Nigerian markets. Currently we have over 350 distributors nationwide. And so the next challenge was that these products were selling out. How do we have enough capital to ensure that we're able to groom our current distributors, we're able to scale across Nigeria, and also grow our workforce? And so with the funding coming in, it's going directly into that pent-up demand. We are aggressively going to scale up in different parts of Nigeria. We're going to reach more distributors. We're going to grow our sales team to be able to go into those rural areas and actually get those customers. And we're also going to go into these initiatives that the federal government too has already spoken about, which is the Nigeria Electrification Program funded by the World Bank and the Solar Power Nigeria Fund, which is CBN funded. And these programs are essentially pushing solar companies to see how they can localize the value chain. Are there components of the solar industry that you can actually bring into Nigeria and localize the panels, the batteries, the solar home systems? Can you go deeper and reach these customers and give them an entry-level cost that won't be too high for them? So these are areas that we're looking at. But most importantly is the workforce. We want to really harness the talents of Africa, and by doing that, it means that we need to bring in a lot of young, bright, intelligent men and women into our workforce and groom them to solve these energy challenges.
Okay, so how Talking about workforce and talking about, Nigeria, bringing in Nigerians and all, how do you source for your materials for production? Are they locally or do you have to?
So the beauty is that we've done two things. So first of all, it's internationally. So we bring in our solar home systems from Asia. Now we've been piloting the local assembly of our larger solar home systems. The larger ones mean the ones that can power your fan, your TV, your fridge, and your laptop. So those ones we source locally. We fabricate the metal in Nigeria. We source the wires, the bulbs, the batteries, and all that, and we make them. And the beauty is that it helps us have our systems near shore. So for example, with COVID-19 pandemic, there were issues around global supply chains. How do we bring these products in faster? There were so many delays, but with that, we're able to cut it short and make sure that we are just, not able to have those shocks to our bottom line.
Okay, so with this investment deal, what's your short-term, medium-term, long-term plan, to be able to utilize the funds properly?
Absolutely. So like I said, short-term to medium-term, it's aggressive expansion. We want to go into at least 15 states by next year. And so that would involve a hub and spoke method. So we'd roll out retail outlets, we'll roll out kiosks, small kiosks, those MTN kiosks you see in different parts of those off-grid areas. We'll grow our sales team. But most importantly, we need to look at the design of our products, which is going to be longer term. How do we produce products that help in other aspects of the industry? For example, agriculture. How do we produce products that help in the planting, the growing, the harvesting, and the storage of vital agricultural produces? And that is where we are looking at. So that funding is going to unlock more funding within our structure to be able to go in that direction.
Okay. My next question, I think we've kind of touched on it earlier, was I was going to ask how long it take Nigeria to get into the renewable energy space. But seeing that you've been in this for a while, I want to know some of the challenges you faced, especially from Nigeria.
Wow. The biggest challenge that I faced, actually, I guess let's start with the team. It was, first of all, I started in 2017, right? And then solar, yes, it was still proliferated, but it wasn't the way it is right now. And so it's bringing that team to say, you know what, we want to start a solar energy business and we want to give back to people who are furthest behind. It's people saying, okay, we're used to oil and gas. What is solar? Can it work? So I should leave my job and come into solar. And so as a founder, it was me, teaching and showing that actually this could be a chance to blaze a new trail, to build your legacy of how you want to help Nigeria. And I really was able to educate them on, I worked at the United Nations in New York. So I brought in a lot of that understanding and I was able to teach my team how to begin to appreciate this new form of energy. But aside that, internally, externally, solar visibility is a challenge, honestly. You go to markets like Alaba, Idumota, Sabongari in the north, and you're presenting these products, and people are saying, what is this? They're saying, this is solar, right? What's it be this? I beg, drop this thing, it's too expensive. And so you're teaching them that actually, petrol generators, diesel, yes, we can't avoid them, but we need to transition into something cleaner. Convincing them by providing systems that are cheaper, that they can actually embrace and say, okay, you know what, we buy into this vision. Those were the key challenges that I faced growing the business. And that's why it's a big deal for us to raise this fund, because it just shows that we have crossed a particular milestone. We have gained traction, the team is growing, people understand what we're doing, and it's a really proud moment for us.
It is, and I'm so proud of you, especially as the lady, driving it, being at the forefront. Well done.
Thank you.
When you were talking about challenges you faced, when you're talking about Alaba and all, I just had a picture in my head. You trying to actually explain to these people.
Let me give an example. They're seeing this girl with her blonde hair. Now I have a Nigerian accent. Then I was, speaking this UN grammar, and they're like, Madam, I beg, clear road, go to your office, so...
I can only imagine, Sandra. We will go on a short break. Please stay with us.
do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
Now 500 naira they collect them. If you no talk, then go beat you. Now 2,500 they pay.
Hello and welcome to Space and Style, a property show designed to connect various stakeholders across the property value chain. We can also provide realistic solutions and deepen your knowledge about the interesting world of real estate. We can showcase architectural design, interior design trends, lifestyle and real-time property news updates, and the right way to navigate through property development and investment. Join me every week on this channel as I take you through an exciting journey in the world of real estate.
Space and Style, 6:30 p.m. on Saturdays and 5:30 p.m. on Wednesdays.
Thanks for staying with us on Ladies Talking Business. We have been having conversations with Sandra Chukwudozie, the CEO at Salfa Energy. All right, Sandra, so I know you've been at the UN.
Yeah.
Congrats on that as well. Doing, different things at the United Nations. And I know you actually got into some form of mentoring program over there. So for somebody who has received mentorship from renowned, outstanding professionals at the United Nations, what impact, or should I say, what are the benefits of mentorship on a professional and a business person?
Thank you for that question. I love that question so much. So for me, I'll just give a bit of background. I started off wanting to go into the oil and gas space because, my family business is focused on oil and gas. And so I did my master's in oil and gas. Coming to the United Nations, a big privilege, I was exposed to mentors who were able to teach me to appreciate clean energy, solar energy. And it wasn't just them teaching me about solar energy, but it was them speaking to me as somebody who mattered. They would say things like, I'm seeing you as a future of Africa. I see your talent, your potential, and I believe that you have a place in your country's say. These things may sound small, but they build confidence. They teach you that you matter. And that was something I learned from them. My voice mattered, I was heard. We had lots of, mentorship programs. Women were coming to me and telling me that, I had to speak about certain things. I was 23 at the time. I was quite shy. I was smart, but I was quite shy. But then the main point of mentorship is that you're having confidence building, because as a young person, you have self-doubt. What have you done? You've gone to school, you've passed, but what can you do in the professional space? So having those kinds of people believe in you and, teach you about where the world is going is very important. And coming back to Nigeria, I won't underemphasize the need for professional mentorship, because this climate is a very tough one. The ease of doing business here is ridiculously tough. I came back in 2017, a very tough time. Exchange rates went close to 500 naira per dollar. I was just blown away. I was thinking to myself, is this the right move? But having impact investors like Allon, like the US African Development Fund, that are able to take companies such as mine from that seed ideation stage, giving them the infrastructure. How do you structure your finances? How do you structure your workforce? How do you structure your social media and public facing activities? These kinds of things are very important because we lack that in Nigeria. And so I'd say for any young person in my stage or earlier than my stage of development, you need to attach yourself to mentors that are going to help you flesh out that vision. people who are for you. Don't go to people who are telling you, no, it's not, this is not going to work, because there are lots of naysayers. You need to align yourself to the right people.
Wow, thank you so much for that, Sandra. So how has being a female in this sector been? So has it been an advantage for you, or has it been stressful? How has it been?
Honestly, I tell everyone that I'm a spirit on a mission. Wow. I don't see myself in any gender. I just see myself as someone that is here to achieve. So if there are 20 men or 15 ladies, I'm just here as my own presence. And I guess it's because I grew up in a very entrepreneurial household where, I mean, it's business, Igbo family, manufacturing, real estate, oil and gas. So at that early age, I was able to go around the offices, see what they were doing, ask questions. Very naughty child I was, but we have changed now. So, you know, I was given a seat at the table. My parents told me, look, you're going to make an impact in this company. And for a young person, and this is like 3, 4, 5 years old, so I was already given that voice. I could make an impact. My mom at the time was 25, managing about 6, 7 companies. Wow. So my
you just grew into it. So
yeah, I really
I
grew
need
into
to make
it.
money and do stuff.
So that really helped me, because now I see a lot of women, you know, across different employ, mine and externally, that are facing this challenge of, oh, I'm a woman and I feel held back. I'm saying, no, you don't need to feel held back. You have so much to offer. Don't see yourself as from your point of view of your gender lens, you know. So I give women a chance in my organization. For example, in my company, over 75 women are employed directly and indirectly. And we're doing that to ensure that we are catching them young and we're giving them a space to evolve and give their talents. So I think for me, it's been really, it's been a smooth ride for now.
It's been a smooth ride. Wow, wow, wow. Like, I'm so impressed, Sandra. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, so I just wanted to ask, you know, dealing with people in Nigeria, dealing with not just human beings, corporations. Tell us about it. How has it been?
Okay, so that's a very good question. Let me just say this story. I haven't really said this before. The biggest challenge that I faced outside of starting my business was trying to bring in this idea of renewable energy. So for example, in the corporation that I work in, that is oil and gas focused, there's a challenge of, you know, bringing in ideas to transition to clean energy, right? That was a big challenge for me. And in Nigeria, these are challenges that young people are going to face. How do we shake up the status quo? How do we have our voice, and how do we show that there's a new way of doing things? Because in this country, a young person is seen as, you don't have experience, what do you know? You don't have funding, your voice doesn't matter. And so for me, it's been quite rocky and it's been challenging, but I think that challenge has actually helped me to build what I have now. A company that is focused on helping young people to actualize their dreams. That is the goal of Sulfur Energy. Outside of the product, I want to reach these young people wherever they are. Come and join this company. Let us make Nigeria a better place. And it gives me joy when I see my team growing, when I see them learning and, you know, giving testimonials. I just feel like I have impacted lives. You know, that's a joy for me.
It sure is, Sandra. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
And we wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks for watching Ladies Talking Business today. Do join us this same time next week for another episode. Don't forget to follow us on Plus TV Africa Lifestyle on YouTube to catch up with our programs. I am Rotimi Amaechi. Bye for now.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshuke.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. Like, no question. He's a living legend.
God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild.
This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry.
You're watching Plus Event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
The Security and Exchange Commission (SEC) released its long-awaited digital asset regulation that is meant to guide how digital assets such as cryptocurrencies are regulated in the country. Now, the new rules for digital assets are part of its effort to regulate the digital virtual assets such as bitcoins and NFTs. This document, titled New Rules on Issuance, Offering Platforms and Custody of Digital Assets, cover regulation on 5 major items, ranging from issuance of digital assets to rules that govern digital asset exchanges in the country. Expectedly, the regulations have drawn several positive and negative remarks from cryptocurrency enthusiasts across the country and outside Nigeria. We will be looking at these regulations on the show today. Welcome to Business Insights and Plus TV Africa. I am Justin Akadonye. Now, just before we get into the discussion of the day, here is a highlight of the major stories that made headlines in Business Nigeria this week. Take a look.
The federal government has said it is targeting local refining of over 2.555 billion barrels of crude oil worth over 120 trillion naira in the next 5 years. A combined refining capacity of more than 1.4 million barrels per day is expected from the rehabilitation of the existing 4 national refineries, co-location of new refineries, construction of greenfield refineries, and construction of modular refineries as part of the Ministry of Petroleum Resources refining roadmap in the next 5 years. The refining of 1.4 million barrels per day is approximately 2.555 billion barrels in 5 years. At least 51.3 million unique telecommunication devices may not have national identification numbers. According to the Nigeria Communications Commission's document titled Deployment of a Device Management System, Project Information Memorandum, Nigeria had about 132 million unique devices connected to telecommunication networks in 2020. It said with more than 200 million active lines on the Nigerian telecommunication network, there is great potential for the development of a DMS in the Nigerian market. The Nigeria Identity Management Commission enrollment dashboard for April 2022 showed 80.7 million people had NINs as of April 23, 2022. This leaves 51.3 million device owners without NINs. Experts and entrepreneurs in the digital space have called for a critical review of Nigeria's digital economic regulations to meet up with other progressive economies. The professionals who spoke at the 2022 Legal Business Conference in Lagos said these digital sectors included blockchain, crypto and fintech innovation. According to a statement, the professionals in the fintech and blockchain subsector of the financial industry said Nigeria was losing billions of naira owing to its inability to explore and maximize myriads of opportunities inherent in the digital world like other economies. African Economic Outlook 2022, released by the African Development Bank, has projected the average growth of Nigeria's economy this year through to 2023 at 3.2%. The report, which was released at the ongoing annual general meeting of the bank in Accra, Ghana, focuses on the growth prospects of the continent in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic, climate change adaptation, energy transition, and other structural challenges. The report unveiled by the president of the bank, Dr. Akiwumi Adesina, his team and board of governors examines the economic outlook at regional level and country-by-country basis. AFDB's projection is slightly higher than the 3.11% growth rate of Q1 as released by the National Bureau of Statistics.
Welcome back. Those are the stories that made headlines. Reactions are already trailing the new regulations by SEC. Some experts have said although the guidelines were a welcome development for the country, the ingredient of the regulation did not favor the local market. Joining us now to share his perspective on the development is certified blockchain architect Rume Dominic. Rume, thanks for joining us on Business Insight and Plus TV Africa.
Thank you very much. I'm very grateful.
All right, let's dive into it, Rume. Let's just start by asking your reactions concerning these new sets of regulation. How does it really hit you?
Okay, interestingly, it's one that is actually a welcome idea. It is a very good thing, actually. It is good that we have clarity forward, especially with digital assets in Nigeria. You see, when investors want clarity, when they want to get into any market, when they want to invest a lot of money, a lot of billions into every market, and they want to see profit, they want to be able to weigh their risks to reward ratio in order to ensure that they are extremely profitable on the long run. So while we see some of these particular complaints around the recent SEC regulation that was released, I find it as very interesting, and it's one that will actually pave a good way for the development of cryptocurrency assets. Because, I mean, we have seen good players come in from outside this particular country that would also have a lot of money to be able to invest. But one place that I find it very troubling is that the SEC, in most of their provisions, especially for this particular regulation, they were actually on the side of taking from most of the cryptocurrency pioneers, and they are not really giving back to.
All right,
we'll discuss much more about that.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that. They taking from the players and not really investing. We'll take it one step at a time. But let's talk about some other issues people have commented on. Specifically, the Securities and Exchange Commission is actually classifying this particular asset as securities, as it were, and. It's a peer-to-peer network, if you ask me, the Bitcoin and all that, and it's very hard to regulate. Don't you think that in itself is an issue?
So that is actually not meant to be our first major focus. Our first major focus should be this particular technology that just hits the ground. When we look at it in terms of finance, okay, it is just an enabler of finance in the sense that it is currency that is used in the digital world to actually enable finance. So we should first be focused on not the peer-to-peer nature or how safe it can be because of this particular regulation that came on board. Let's take, for example, some of the major requirements stated that we needed about 100,000 naira first of all for like an application fee. Then you needed about 300,000 naira to be able to get the processing going on. Then you also need about 30 million naira to also get some registration. And then you also need about 500 million naira for what? For capital, which you would need to put on ground before you are able to even exchange digital assets, just like you said now, especially with Bitcoin peer-to-peer. So after you've brought forward all these requirements, you still need to now go and fulfill this particular legal requirements before you be able to exchange Bitcoin. If you put it in the peer-to-peer manner, everybody that has fulfilled this yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We lost you at some point. Please go ahead with your thoughts.
Okay, so I was saying that we should look critically at the security aspect of it, in the sense that we looked at it and then we needed about, from the requirements that we're given, we needed about 100,000 naira for you to first of all register. You needed about 300,000 naira for you to even put forward that particular application. Then you needed about 30 million, which is about almost $50,000, to be able to quickly get that particular registration process going on. And then you need a capital requirement of about 500 million naira. And then you also need an upfront capital of about $8,600. When you put all of this together, it ensures that if somebody goes into this particular space and does not fulfill what he or she is promising to the Nigerian investors, to the Nigerian populace, all of these particular assets that we have made mention of in the past would be at risk. So it makes people to be able to live up to a certain level of integrity, especially with the deliverables that the Nigerian populace will be expecting, the trustworthiness that the Nigerian populace will be expecting from the investment that they are making into this particular digital space. So we should not focus on the anonymous nature of it first. We should focus on the security that it is providing to the Nigerian populace through this particular regulation. That is what I think.
All right, Ruma, fine. You've talked about the cumbersomeness of the financial outlay and requirement for digital assets offering platforms, that's the DAOPs. But some people have also said that it's as though the Securities and Exchange Commission and the CBN are actually working at cross purposes over this regulation. Do you agree?
Well, I would not say that conclusion is far-fetched. Regardless, let's also note that this is not a letter or a circular from the CBN that negates their February 2021 circular to the banks that ban cryptocurrency. This is actually a circular from the SEC saying that, well, you want to do cryptocurrency in Nigeria, you want to be able to get into this space, you want to do big business here. You guys can, if you can, this particular requirement, then you are free to be able to come into our legal system and you are legally recognized. Meanwhile, I think what will happen is after this particular phase has passed, then the CBN would now come out and start lifting some of those bans that they've placed on cryptocurrencies before now. But that is not really to say that because of this particular circular for the regulation that is out, CBN has actually withdrawn that particular statement or that particular circular that was given out to the banks. It is just a way to be able to now say, okay, people that are interested, since Nigeria is one of the biggest markets, we are welcoming that particular engagement. Like you know that Nigeria was part of the people that went for this last El Salvador's Bitcoin conference. And considering the fact that Nigeria also has the CBDC, which is the e-naira, attached to their portfolio, it is good that Nigeria is actually taking a very strong standpoint to regulate this. And I think the CBN should start taking a little bit of lesson from this now. But what I want them to do is to do something that is also stretching to the community. Before they take many of these particular conclusions, they should try to reach a lot of the communities so that they would be able to play this particular regulation in a way that it will be that it will not stifle innovation. It will be beneficial to both the small players and the big players.
I was going to ask you that. Rome, because a lot of people actually said before this or after this new set of rules were brought out by the Securities and Exchange Commission, it was a general thing that the active players or the key players were not carried along. There was no town hall meeting or stakeholders meeting to bring about all of the input. It was as though they just brought the hammer on players. Do you agree?
Yes, I actually do agree. Because when you take a statistical outlook at the industry right now, you see that the majority of the players, especially in the Nigerian market, they are young people within the age of about 20 to 30 years old. And let's be factual. One of the major problems of entrepreneurs in Nigeria is access to capital. And that's one of the problems that blockchain actually solves, because it helps them to be able to raise funds through processes like crowdfunding. But then access to capital, when you might not have lasted in the space for so long a time, maybe like 4 or 5 years, you might not have access to those much capital that we just called. So you see that the average 25 years old boy, which is already a big player, and a medium player in this particular space, might not really be able to fulfill all of those requirements. Now, it is like this. You then shut that particular man's business down because of this particular SEC regulation. And then you have foreign investors that have seen the opportunity. They come into the country and they have the money because they are actually coming with enough dollars, and then they're able to pay the Security Exchange Commission, and they're able to monopolize this particular market. Meanwhile, there's also no provision in all of this regulation saying that, okay, since some of these local players or these young individuals might not be able to meet up, these young individuals, when these big companies come with their money now, would they partner with some of these local companies? Would they be able to say, okay, let them invest 20% of the funds back into development of these local companies, so that with time, after like 2 years, these particular local players that do not have money now, they will start investing into the big leagues and start playing in the big leagues? Or I think they should have also done it like this. They should have also looked at a way of saying, okay, for some of the high, maybe if you do so and so value of transaction, because they focus so much on the exchanges. If you do so and so volume of transaction, then you can pay so and so amount, maybe about 15 million or about 10 million. Then if you are playing in so and so capacity, or they make it like a tier, they give it a tier type of structure, so that a lot of people, it can be accommodating for a lot of young players, so that we will not see the innovation die and a lot of youth just go hungry at a time where a lot of recession to come out from.
Okay, so speaking of which, all of these challenges that you've talked and big companies trying to take over, when ordinarily it is the young people who are really involved in this digital economy in Nigeria. So don't you think it's high time these players, be they active or just passive ones, don't you think it's high time that you guys came together and maybe forged some sort of a common front, or maybe like an identity, so that your voices can be heard amply?
Yes, I strongly agree with you that it's high time we come together and form a very strong group and movement that will make our voice heard very well. And coming to that particular aspect, that's why we have one of the strongest body in Nigeria, CBAN, Stakeholders of the Blockchain Association of Nigeria, which I am an executive of. And if you notice, about 3 weeks ago, we published a circular on one of the national dailies, especially relating to these digital assets and some of the challenges around it. So we have started gathering up our might to see that we get one single voice as an organization, as CBAN. So we do that with the platform of CBAN, which is the Stakeholders of the Blockchain Association of Nigeria, so that we can forward petitions and we are also able to regulate it. The major problem I see here is actually the unwillingness of the government bodies to work with people that are far much more experienced than them. You see, in other developed countries, they set up panels, they set up boardrooms for experts that know about all of these things. They even pay for them to come and teach them these things and then guide them through. We are doing this, a lot of us are trying to do these things in Nigeria, especially in the governmental level, with trial and error, or they are just trying to copy things that are not realistic or that is not even related, is not practically applicable to their geographical region. So I think that is where the major problem is coming from. They should try to see how they can work with much more experts and then see how they can also tailor their regulations, especially relating to their geographical location, their markets, and how Nigeria can actually really scale with this particular innovation.
All right, Ruben, it's good you've talked about some of these challenges, and I just want us to look at some preferable solutions to all of this. You talked about the exchange focusing on it as more of a security than all the other issues. You also talked about identifying the original players and working with them in as much as they might not really understand them, how it relates to this particular geographical location. So what else can the maybe regulators and of course players do in the immediacy, in the short term, to ensure that all of these bottlenecks are, stemmed?
Okay. They say you can never beat the place of experience in a man's life. One of the ways a lot of us started getting very interested in this, that we started experiencing the currency, we started experiencing the technology itself, and we started developing use case and business solutions that are currently still viable and have a lot of solutions that are still offering to the public. So the first place the people should come from is to start from a knowledge point, which is the place of acquiring skills. That's why at VOREM, we have an academy, VOREM Academy, where we teach all of the blockchain skills. We have about 20 blockchain courses where we dispense all of those things in about 107 different modules, which focuses on the security, the regulatory parts of cryptocurrency, the distributed ledger, the business use case, how it applies to different technologies, different geographical locations, the new metaverse, the NFTs, how to be able to use them to access decentralized autonomous organizations, how to be able to use them for governance and voting. So this is actually one of the pathway that is required for a better regulatory and implementation process. When we have that and we're coming from a knowledge point and we're able to tackle this with enough experience, then that particular challenge will no longer be an issue.
All right, we must say a very big thank you to you, Rume Dominic, for all of these insights that you have shared. We look forward to seeing you again in future as this developments unfold in our digital economy. Thank you so much, Rume.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Yes, it is indeed a pleasure. Rume Dominic is a certified blockchain architect. Well, staying with the financial sector, the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, CIBN, says it will continue playing its role as a bridge to engender positive collaborations between all players in fintech for the good of the industry. Ken Okbara said this during his investiture at the 22nd President and Chairman in Council of the CIBN, which held in Lagos. I'll leave you with details of that, and I'll see you again next time. I am Justin Akadonye. Many thanks for watching.
Having said that,
gathered at this hall are banking professionals who have converged to celebrate the men who will control the hems of affairs of the Bankers Institute for the next 2 years. Though they are in a celebratory mood, musings about the industry, which has witnessed relative stability in recent times amid economic headwinds, resound.
I shall abide by.
After his investiture, the new CIBN boss, Ken Okbara, says the future of banking, which revolves around the Generation Z, is a focal strategic goal for his administration, hence the need to encourage fintech. His predecessor, Bayo Olugbemi, shares similar thoughts.
The future is here. It means that we need to begin to build up inclusion, have the Gen Z, the younger people, who definitely will take over from us to be inspired to do the business of banking.
We have seen that there are a lot of channels of delivering our services, and technology is the main thing now. If you don't embrace technology in banking, you fail. So that's why I encourage banks. We're doing a lot of financial technologies. but we should do much more than what we are doing now.
The competition for traditional banks has shifted in the past 7 years from fellow banks and peers to small but mighty adventure-seeking entities called fintechs. As the conversation shifts towards payment system and the CBN's e-Naira, the bank executives share their thoughts on the future and viability. Meanwhile, in an address, the Lagos state government promises to continue to make the state conducive for business to thrive.
In terms of payment system, you discover that the banks have done so much in accelerating the payment system. It's one of the countries in this, in this world where you can do online service and get instant payment. It does even in US. If you do payment, it doesn't happen instantly. And that essentially is a credit to the banking system.
I think our people, Nigeria in particular, we prefer cash. But little by little, I think the tenets or the policy of e-Naira we go down.
Show you all that we are working tirelessly to further strengthen the economy and the financial sector in Lagos to make life better for all Lagosians.
In line with re-engineering the sector, the CIBN promises to develop a digital roadmap for the banking and finance industry and offer certifications on digital skills.
How can we have peace without justice?
Plus politics. It's not just another political conversation, it's about keeping you in the know. The relevant interviews, asking the tough questions to those that matter. Get the answers you need. Does it mean that the people who were injured, people who were shot at, those who were involved in that stampede are not going to get justice?
It is unfortunate, it is sad that we have a government of deaf and dumb.
Analysis from top experts.
The last election was not really an election.
We feel that Obasanjo has a very special place in his heart for hating Ijaw people.
I think it really boils down to two things. One, trust and accountability.
Plus Politics, every weeknight at 7 p.m. on Plus TV Africa.
Nigeria, by extension, Africa, is faced with a lot of challenges. The growing youth population with little engagement, that is a ticking time bomb. We are a blessed people with diverse culture and highly cerebral minds who have a lot to say. And yes, we are talking. It is important we drive the right conversation that informs, inspires, influences thoughts and action. If we say there's beauty in our diversity, then let us embrace our diverse culture. We must continue to courageously be the voice of transformation as we are the hope for the future. Yesterday's conversations shape today. What are you saying to shape your tomorrow? We know you have a lot to say, and we are here to hear you.
and thank you for joining us on this episode of One on One. Today we're focusing on women in tech. Now, despite conversations about gender diversity in tech, women are still underrepresented and underpaid in the industry. My guest today is Anu Gopal, and she's the host of the Agile Africa Alliance, a virtual community of 2,000 plus Africa Agile practitioners, and has mentored hundreds of Africans in diaspora to a 6-figures salary. Now, Anu is the first Black African certified Agile coach. She also launched the Women in Agile chapters for both Nigeria and Dallas-Fort, USA. By trade, she works as an organizational coach for leadership teams at places like Nike, AT&T, Toyota, Capital One, TD Bank, and the UK government. Thank you so much, Anu, for joining us today.
Thank you, Fumi, for having me.
Thank you. Okay, so let's get straight to it. Tell us, how did you get into tech?
Wow, that's an interesting story. So, initially, I wanted to study petroleum engineering.
Okay.
But my older brother filled my JAMB form because I did my first degree in University of Ibadan.
Okay.
And he actually put computer science. And I passed my JAMB, I passed my WAHEC, and I found myself as a computer science student at University of Ibadan. And 4, 5, 6 years with all those strikes in Nigerian University, I graduated with BSc Computer Science, and I fell in love with tech. Okay. And that is how the journey started. And I didn't regret it because that's where the passion for women development, especially youth development in the tech space, stemmed from.
All right. We were talking earlier behind the scenes. I would like you to tell us some of your challenges. Has been, reading your bio as the first Black woman. Has it been being a woman in tech?
It's been challenging, frustrating, especially not just breaking into the tech industry, but when you look at the organization workplace, the cultural bias for women in tech, it's really, really frustrating. Even in developed countries, you will only find few women, and mostly they're Indian women in tech, because they dominate the tech industry. So, the pay gap is also, when it comes to the gender between male and female, the women are not really treated well. Even getting promoted is another issue. I had a similar problem in an organization that I don't want to mention. Okay. I was to be the chief of Agile in that organization, and the next thing is a white male became the chief of Agile. And it was so frustrating that I had to leave that company. Because as a woman in tech, you have to fight for yourself. You have to fight for your worth. You have to work 5-10 times harder than men in tech.
Okay, so is this responsible? Because this leads to my next question, where he says that according to the National Science Foundation, there's a consistent trend that has been dubbed a leaky pipeline, where it's difficult to retain women in STEM jobs once they have graduated with a STEM degree. Do you think this is responsible? What's responsible for that?
Well, when you're working in a male-dominated industry, what do you expect? In male-dominated industry, it's really, really difficult for women to find their footing. And also with all these cultural bias and gender bias and, pay gap, promotion and challenges that women are facing in technology, most women doesn't want to even, step into that opportunity as well. Like, they would prefer to do something that, prefer to be in an industry that they have more women than going into an industry that is male-dominated. And it's also frustrating. There's that misconception that women doesn't belong in tech. It's male industry. And that's what people like us are fighting against. Because where you have women, women are the most hardworking, motivated. We take passion into the workplace. Yeah. And any organization that wants to be productive, profitable, that gender balance has to be in space. So I don't blame some women. I have a lot of friends that have actually, left. They've left the tech industry because of this gender bias.
So what do we do? How do we get more women to be in tech then? What do we need to do?
We have more male advocates, especially men in leadership positions, fighting for us women, just helping that gender balance to be in place. Providing sponsorship, mentorship, opportunities for women. You know, when you walk into a boardroom, we need to have, even if it's 30% women and 70% men. I've been in boardroom meetings that I'm the only black woman and I'm the only woman. And a woman from Africa, what do you expect? So we need more male advocates, not just women advocates. And also, we also need our women, especially our female youths, to believe that they belong in this industry, because technology is the future of the world. It's even our present right now. There's nothing we can do without technology.
That's so true.
We live, we breathe it. Everybody have a mobile phone, right? And it's built by technology. So we need to have that confidence, that belief, believing in ourselves that we can do it.
Okay. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll take a quick break and I'll still be here with Anu. Stay with us.
In raising our kids, parents should stop playing God.
The internet is actually using the people.
But when you are looking for money to help other people, then it becomes easy.
Don't rush into marriage. I always say this. You rush in, you rush out.
Family is the bedrock of every society and the essence of life.
On Today with John and Helen, we dig deep into family values in every sense of the word.
Join us every Saturday at 9:15 a.m. on Plus TV Africa, DSTV channel 408.
With you, we play a part in strengthening the values passed from generation to generation.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect am. If you no talk, dem go beat you. Na 2,500 they pay.
Thank you for staying with us. This is still one-on-one, and I have Anu Gopal with me, and we're talking about women in tech. Now, so you were talking earlier on about all of us having mobile phones and all of that. Now, the thing is, there's a lot of notion where many people feel like tech is a young people thing, you know, 18, 21, maybe 30 max. And a lot of women, you know, older are like restraining themselves from wanting to get into tech, for example. So I, for example, I'm interested in tech. I'm just fascinated by, you know, by the whole thing and the conversations and all of that. And I really think I want to break into it. But sometimes they're like, for me, whoa, it's not mama like you, they're looking for that kind of place. So I would like you to like clear that notion. Can older people still get into tech if they want to?
Why not? Tech is for everyone. Even if you're 80-year-old, you can decide to develop passion in tech and study, you know, tech, have a tech career. I'm one of those 40 plus. I love tech. I'm passionate about tech, and you know that's not going to change because tech has revolutionized global economy, like the entire world. You know, it's interconnected because of technology, right? Gone are the days that we need to send letter, we need to, you know, all those, you know, traditional ways of communicating with each other. Everything is powered by tech. So tech is for everyone, and you're invited to come for the next
Surely, trust
Girls
me,
in Tech.
Surely, trust me, I'm going to join in. So my next question is about the fact that I think with every industry in Nigeria, a lot of people do things in silos, and many of the things, even in the tech industry in Nigeria, people are working, you know, separately and differently. There has been no coming together, so to speak, and also like a one voice from like the Ministry of Digital Economy, for example. What can we begin to do to change that, to have like a lot of government backing? Because if you look at USA, for example, the government gives a lot of support to their, to their tech companies, even when they are right or they are wrong, and they just give like a lot of support. How do we begin to get to that level in Nigeria where the government can give people like you support?
Wow, interesting question. There are so many grants in developed countries, the way they are powering technology, helping large corporations and even small organizations, to be profitable and to be able to sustain their economy, because everything is powered by technology. I think the biggest challenge we have in Nigeria is trust. If I have a business idea and I share it with you, you can run with my idea. Although we have system in place like patents and stuff like that, but it's not robust enough to protect my vision and your vision, especially when you're sharing it with friends and family. But the challenge is until we change our mindset, it's a mindset thing, and we begin to work collaboratively instead of working in silos. Silo will not take us anywhere, and that's one of the biggest challenges that we have in Nigeria. When you look at why these countries are thriving, it's because of collaboration between the government, between the corporations, SMEs, and individuals, doing so many things to develop the economy. For the Ministry of Data Economy, right, they need to understand, what does the citizens need? What do we really need to do to build a data economy for our country? What could make us to be a country that can innovate faster than any other continent in the world? They need to start reaching out to individuals and organizations, both small and big organizations, and come together to discuss what do we need to do to revolutionize our country, our economy. Because the best talent and the best resources in the world is in Nigeria, is in Africa. It's that collaboration and communication and cooperation and working together that is missing.
Okay, so interesting answer that you've given. But let's talk about the fact that, the Nigerian tech space is still growing. But we see that in the ecosystem of the tech space, we have more of foreign venture capitalists giving funds than local investors. Some of my friends that are in tech, I think about 2 weeks ago, they were just complaining about how, well, the thing is, once they get like funding from an international investor, then all the local guys now come up. And I'm like, what happened to the local guys in the first place? Why are the local investors not championing, the causes of these tech guys, and we wait for venture capitalists from, outside to come in?
Well, the wealthiest people in Africa are in Nigeria.
Just that you say that.
Yes, and even when you're looking at the first 50 wealthy people in the world, we have in Nigeria among us. But we're in a VUCA world, right? I want to put myself in their shoe as well, and I will put myself in the shoe of the startup founders. We're in a VUCA world. The world is very volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Right? And I've realized that even with the programs I'm doing, right, it's mostly self-funded.
Okay.
When you go to organizations, corporate organizations for sponsorship, they're like, what's in it for us? Why do we need to support you? Maybe because of lack of trust. So because of the uncertainty and the volatile, startup ecosystem.
But that's what business is about, really. Because the truth is, many of these organizations go ahead and still put money in projects that are not necessarily tech.
Exactly.
And then they get to lose money. So isn't that what business is about? Taking some form of risk at the end of the day.
So one thing I've also realized is that Africans have low appetite for risk.
True.
And also, if I invest in you, what's the confidence level to show that that startup is going to be successful and I'm going to get my money back? And I'm also going to get the profits and, the stake that have been promised. And if Nigerian rich people can see the opportunity, and if they can see the talents of the Nigerian youth especially, our country will be better than this. Why do you think foreign investors are popping millions of funds into Nigeria? They saw opportunity. Nigeria especially Africa in the next 10 years is going to be a continent that can innovate faster than any other continent in the world. They've seen the potential. They've seen the big money. They've seen opportunity for investment in Africa. In 2018, we had about 87% foreign investors investing in African startups. And local is about 12-point-something%. But what happened in 2019? The number increased to 95%.
Oh, wow.
And the number of local investors reduced to, became 5%, which was 8% gaps. So if these African rich men can see the opportunities that these foreign investors are seeing, we don't need them. We have the wealth in Nigeria.
I think you've answered my next question, where I was about to ask you about the potential. What do you see about the potential in the Nigerian tech space?
Oh, there are so many potentials. And we've seen the results. We've seen CUDA, we've seen Paystack, we've seen Flutter, and we've seen so many. Do you know that in 2019, we had about 400 startups in Africa, and Nigeria, of course, our country always have the highest in everything. But in the year of COVID, it rose to 646 startups. So that additional 200 plus startups were founded in Africa. Even in the year of COVID, that foreign organizations were shutting down. Because the youth saw different opportunities during the year of COVID and even beyond the year of COVID that we can use to transform our continent. So the number of startups will continue to increase. But I just wish that Africans can believe to trust each other, and also local investors can believe in these youths and start pumping the right investments to create a sustainable, profitable business that will not just benefit the founders and the stakeholders, will benefit the economy and also provide job opportunities for the youths.
Interesting. Okay, we'll take another break. We'll be right back.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the barbing, I pay my rent. On the barbing, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment, and another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
I will do everything to take Lagos out of the national grid.
Thank you for staying with us. And if you had been following us from the beginning, we're talking about tech space and women in the tech space and the challenges they have, currently going through. I still have Anu Gopal with me. So Anu, tell me about this experience. You recently trained over 30 girls. What was that about?
100 girls.
Over 100 girls. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, it's okay. This is the 3rd edition. So what we do is to close the gender gap in technology. which is the ratio of 75% male and 25% female. And African and African American ratio is 3%. And when you look at the percentage of African women in tech, it's less than 1%. Not to talk of Nigeria as an example. So our goal is to bridge that gender gap and provide education, training, mentorship, career opportunities, and also entrepreneurship to our African youths, especially Nigerian female youths. So we had a 3 weeks boot camp, and these beautiful ladies, talented ladies, with no prior experience in technology, because our criteria is we are looking for girls that are passionate. You don't need to study computer science or computer engineering, but so far you have passion in technology. We had about thousands girls between the age of 18 to 25 that applied, and we chose the best 100 out of them. And they went through a 3 weeks boot camp where they learned machine learning, data science, artificial intelligence, web development, UI, UX, and also they did a 2-day training to learn the agile methods. So agile is the #1 innovation method in Silicon Valley, and the secret sauce of Facebook, all those silicon companies. So, and at the end of the 3 weeks boot camp, they did a 2 days hackathon to use everything that they've learned over the last 2 weeks plus to develop data, social, economic solutions for Nigeria, for Lagos.
Fantastic. I was there and I saw some of the innovative things that they came up with. Okay, so let's talk about infrastructure. And I like that you've mentioned Facebook. And my question stems from the fact that every time there's a glitch, maybe on Instagram, on Facebook, and everybody goes, and I'm like, okay, when will we begin to build our own Nigerian Facebook? And but look, our internet structure here is not even, what are we going to do about that? Because the tech space needs to work vis-a-vis with the infrastructure right in place with that. What do we need to do, or how do we need to go about that?
Well, our infrastructure has improved compared to a few years ago, but it's still very poor. And there's no way you can build a digital economy without infrastructure, right? You are calling someone that is next beside you and it's telling you that the phone is switched off. But the phone is actually on. So we need the government and also private organizations to help build our infrastructure. Why do you think foreign investors are going to Ghana? Why are they going to Rwanda? Why not Nigeria? Not just the infrastructure, our bureaucracy is like crazy. You have to go through maybe 100 steps before you can even start a company, invest in Nigeria, which is really, really ridiculous. When I was in Toyota, I was so excited talking to the CEO. Oh, you will come to Nigeria because Toyota is in India. Toyota is in China, different countries, right? And I said, oh, Nigeria, don't worry. But with all the bureaucracy and so many challenges that we have in our governance, they went to Ghana, which is really, really painful. So we need to invest a lot in the infrastructure to benefit the citizens, not to benefit the government or few percentage of the citizens.
True, very true. Okay, so let's wrap this up with giving a word of advice or encouragement is two-pronged. So one, for someone who is not in tech and watching you right now and is considering going into that. And then also for someone who's already in tech and probably going through like a lot of challenges. What advice will you have for both of them?
Oh, for those that want to go into tech, the opportunities are there. You can start by learning online. There's Coursera, there's Simplify, there's Udemy. Start from there and discover your passion, because there are so many skills in tech. What am I excited about? What makes me leap out for joy when I wake up in the morning? Is it data marketing because it's still part of tech? Is it any of these cutting edge technology skills that we are training our girls for the Girls in Tech Bootcamp? Find your passion, find your calling. Tech is not just meant for men. Tech is meant for every man and woman created on this earth. People like us, we struggle. I call myself small but mighty, and a lot of people call me that. You can't shake me, right? You have to try very hard because this industry belongs to me as well. And I'm going to fight hard and to stay in this industry. So believe in yourself, believe in your dream, be confident, be bold. Anyone can achieve, become whoever they want to become in life. That's what our Nigerian girls need to do. Be bold, be confident. Believe that you can do it. And for those that are in tech, yes, it's frustrating, it's difficult. Do not quit, do not leave. Stay there. People like us, you know, I was telling you during the break, I was told by some white crazy guy, go back to your village in Nigeria. What are you doing? You are taking our job. This leadership position belongs to us. No, it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to anyone that has the talent to sit on that seat.
All right, thank you so much, Anu. That's really an encouraging word, even for me that is not even in the tech space. And of course, I'm going to have this conversation with you afterward about going into the tech space.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for joining us on One-on-One today. I hope you have learned a thing or two and I have been encouraged. I personally have really been encouraged by Anu and the fantastic things she's doing in the tech space. We look forward to hearing more from her. Until another episode of One-on-One, I remain Femi Kuti. Thank you for joining us today.
In raising our kids, parents should stop playing God.
The internet is actually using the people.
But when you are looking for money to help other people, then it becomes easy.
Don't rush into marriage. I always say this. You rush in, you rush out.
Family is the bedrock of every society and the essence of life.
On Today with John and Helen, we dig deep into family values in every sense of the word.
Join us every Saturday at 9:15 a.m. on Plus TV Africa, DSTV channel 408.
With you, we play a part in strengthening the values passed from generation to generation.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect am. If you no talk, dem go beat you. Na 2,500 they pay.
Hello and welcome to Space and Style, a property show designed to connect various stakeholders across the property value chain. We can also provide realistic solutions and deepen your knowledge about the interesting world of real estate. We shall showcase architectural design, interior design trends, lifestyle and real-time property news updates, and the right way to navigate through property development and investment. Join me every week on this channel as I take you through an exciting journey in the world of real estate.
Space and Style, 6:30 p.m. on Saturdays and 5:30 p.m. on Wednesdays.
Good afternoon. I am Adebanke Odunoi, and this is the news update. All appear set for the People's Democratic Party National. Good afternoon. I am Adebanke Odunoi, and this is the news update. All appear set for the People's Democratic National Convention at the Velodrome of the Moshood Abiola Stadium, Abuja, where the party is expected to elect its presidential candidate. More than 10 aspirants are vying for the presidential tickets of the PDP in today's national convention. They include former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Senate President Bukola Saraki, and River State Governor Nyesom Wike. The chairman of the PDP's National Convention Organizing Committee, NCOC, Senator David Mark, said virtually all its delegates have arrived at Abuja and that the party was ready for the exercise. The All Progressives Congress has postponed its special convention for the presidential primary for the 2023 general elections from May 29th to June 6th. National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Felix Morka, announced this in a statement hours after the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, extended the deadline for parties to conduct their primaries. INEC announced the extension of deadline for political parties to conduct their primaries by 6 days, which is from the 4th till 9th of June. The patience of delegates of the All Progressives Congress in Ikpogba local government area of Nigeria was put to a stretch for several hours as they had to wait till nightfall to choose their representative in their party primaries. Speaking to Plus TV News crew, the eventual winners of the primary expressed their joy for clinching the party's tickets ahead of the 2023 general elections.
I actually want to appreciate the delegates for the manner they conducted themselves during the exercise. The exercise started late, but I want to appreciate them again to have stayed this late to ensure that they cast their votes for the respective aspirants.
I want to appreciate the people of Ikobaha local government, and I want to tell them that I will not disappoint them, having given me their mandates to represent them in the Edo State House of Assembly in the forthcoming general election.
At the end of the voting, the counting was done. This is the result. Martin Umeli had 7 votes. Alile had 21 votes. Ijeon Anthony had 16 votes. While Crosby, Eric will have 53 votes. But the power confirmed me as the returning officer of the federal constituency. I hereby declare Crosby Erico as the winner of the
I want to congratulate myself, thank my teaming supporters, my family, and of course God Almighty for everything.
The Colleges of Education Academic Staff Union has issued a 21-day ultimatum to the government asking it to urgently address the teething issues in contention or face industrial action. The Vice President and Zonal Coordinator, North Central Zone, Noah Dalami, during a press conference in Jos, lamented the continuous and outright neglect by governments and the plight of the COEs, which he said has adversely affected the smooth running of these institutions that are vested with the constitutional responsibility of training the manpower needs of the primary and junior secondary school levels. The vice president noted that any strike allowed would be counterproductive to the realization of the laudable goals for which COEs were established and the general growth and development of the nation, of the educational sector of the nation. Children in Benue State have joined their counterparts in other states to celebrate this year's Children's Day in Makurdi and other local government areas in the state. The state governor, Samuel Otom, who was represented at the event by the Commissioner for Information, Mike Inaligu, lamented that most children who are not enrolled in school have become ready tools in the hands of terrorists and killer herdsmen to foster criminal and inhuman activities. The governor, however, stressed the need to protect children from evil men, urging parents not to allow their children to be exposed to the vagaries of terrorists, killer herdsmen, cultists, and traffickers.
As you are being called children today you are the leader of tomorrow. Don't allow anybody to use you. Don't allow anybody to introduce you to anything that is inimical to your family and the state in general. Whatever you are doing, try to obey the law and order of the land, and then respect your parents. Your parents are your semi-god in this life. My children, the future of Benue State depends on you. And you are the ambassador of this great state.
The parents should try as much as possible not to demonstrate violence in the presence of these children, and not even at the back of it at all. They should not do that, so that the children will learn better morals, and it will help us in the society as they continue to grow. So let us continue to, and now we are encouraging parents to at least engage their children on what? Skills, acquisition of skills, like carpentry, like welding, all these skills, learning on how to make shoes and the rest of it. That can help the children. Instead of winding away aimlessly, going about aimlessly.
Celebrating the child integrity to me shows me that one day I can be a leader of a state.
The celebration features march past, cultural dances, while prizes were presented to schools that emerged winners. Executive Director, Center for Adolescent Health and Social Development, Fatima Odusote, has called on the federal government to put measures in place to make menstrual hygiene materials readily accessible. Odusote, who said this in Abuja to commemorate the 2022 Menstrual Hygiene Day with the theme Making Menstruation a Normal Fact of Life by 2030, said it is imperative for the government to provide sustainable access to water and sanitation for proper menstrual management for girls and women. May 28th of every year is a day set aside to highlight the importance of menstruation and proper menstrual hygiene management for every girl and woman, irrespective of their location, and also to highlight the need to address the common myths surrounding menstruation and break the silence and shame on menstruation. The police command in Bauchi has arrested 5 suspected internet fraudsters undergoing training in the state. The spokesman of the command, SP Amen Wakil, who confirmed the arrest in a statement in Bauchi, said operatives of the command acting on credible intelligence raided a hideout where the suspected cyber criminals were undergoing training in Bauchi metropolis. He listed the suspects to include Emmanuel Saleh alias Wisblack, 22 years old, Matthias Akroni alias Madkid, 20, Patience Nuhu, 21, Bulus Haruna, 18, and Kingsley Simon, 19. And in commemoration of Children's Day celebration, the recognition of the role played by children in each family, and the need to celebrate and make them feel loved and important, Nigerians recounted some of their childhood memories and the need to help out-of-school children. That's on Street Views. Let's take a listen.
My childhood was full of fun.
I'm the last born of my mom, and I'm always with her everywhere. So, I would like my children to go abroad for holidays. So I didn't have that privilege.
And the fun was always there. We'll go to the back of the school where we'll have no disturbance, me and my friends. We'll just be there, and then we'll be throwing this rubber band. I guess you should be able to remember what that means. So it's always very fun.
We'll celebrate them, they'll give them gifts. I prefer to go to school.
Some are walking on the streets doing nothing. So we need assistance from the government. You can see my daughter, she's here today to help me, just to keep her company up today, not to roam about.
I didn't really grow up with my parents. I stayed with my stepmom. So though she was not too bad, but my own children, of course, by God's enablement, they will stay with me, they will grow up with me, and I will train them. There's a difference when you train your own personal child that you give birth to. It's always different.
I really enjoy my kids simply because my father trained us very well. Whenever the children is approaching, they will buy us white socks, white tennis. That's at that material time. So we go to stadium or we go to school, we go to match, we do this, we do that. So it was really fun and very, very awesome. All I want for my children is best for them, academically sound. And I want to treat them in the way of the Lord. And I want them to become great, especially in this universe we are.
The children's play, I miss that a whole lot. If I try to picture it, going back to it, I'm like, some of my siblings and younger ones that look up to me like, uncle, why are you playing like this? And didn't you know you're old? I'm like, because I miss that.
I don't feel like celebrating Children's Day. Instead of me celebrating, I'm helping my mom to sell food stuff. And I think government should help them to provide parents shelters and take them to the motherless baby home, take them to schools, feed them and do everything they need.
And in sports news, Paris was today awash with red and white as fans of Liverpool and Real Madrid gathered in the French capital ahead of the Champions League final. Supporters were at the official fan festival at the city's Hotel de Ville, where they were buying souvenirs and posing for photographs with the trophy. The Stade de France in Saint Denis will host the third final between the two clubs, who also met in 1981 and 2018. Liverpool won the 1981 final, also in Paris, while Real were victorious in Kiev 4 years ago. And as news updates, for more stories, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa and Plus TV Africa Lifestyle. I am Adebanke Odunuri. Thank you for watching.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamode Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on Plus TV Africa as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamode Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to CrossTrending. I am Booking November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
So what are the top decisions that the United States considers necessary that Nigeria must take? I like to think of my interactions as conversations, not interviews. And that's why I say asking questions is both an art and a science. Everyone says in Islam you are allowed to have 4 wives. Is it mandatory? The right question enables answers that educate, inform, clarify, and help you, the viewer, to better understand the issue before making up your mind.
Our goal is to reduce from 10 to 2 days the time it takes to register businesses in Nigeria.
Join me every week on this station Plus TV Africa and gain exclusive access to my conversations. I'm Angela Ajetumobi.
Life can be fun and rewarding, but it also comes with some risk. As in business, you win some, you lose some. And that's why you need to be wise in the choices you make. It's like placing a bet. Again, you need to be wise. Wise in choosing an innovative platform with the highest market options and highest odds ever. That's why Winners Golden Bet, the leader in online, in-shop, virtual, and live sports betting, gives you enhanced platforms that offer you the best chances of winning. For betting on live soccer matches, live dog races, and virtual games. Winners Golden Bet is your best bet. Instant payment of winnings guaranteed. Play online or in any of our numerous shops nearest to you.
Hey guys, be wise. Play on Winners Golden Bet.
Winners Golden Bet, the wise choice.
Financial literacy is an essential skill for the 21st century. The principles of debt management, profitable savings techniques, and the importance of money have helped many. In 2011, the Central Bank of Nigeria made a commitment to reduce the number of financially excluded Nigerians from 46.3% in 2010 to 20% by 2020. Many fintech startups are plugging into this gap and targeting niche markets. One of such startups is Harvest. Harvest was founded by Sholape Akimpelu, who once worked at a marketing agency. Her dream is to help women in Africa take control of their finances by bridging the economic gender gap. She believes more women need to be intentional by improving their financial well-being.
Okay, so Harvest simply is an inclusive finance for African women. So we give women familiar access to savings, impact investments, and credit. So when we say impact investment, that is women impact investing into smallholder of milk farmers specifically. So that way yourself, right, we equip you with personal finance, insight, tools, platforms, right, to embrace savings, embrace financial wholeness, wellness, right, and then we don't limit it to you alone. We believe that the woman breaking her back in some far-flung village in Zaria, for instance, should get access to financial services too, because that's the only way we can prime her, her family, her community for better livelihood. So we extend our credit too, we extend our personal finance, considering the digital divide in language base. So that way you've equipped her and then she can participate in savings. And then, do you understand? So you're not managing poverty here for women, right? We are giving them a platform, tools, insights that gets them swim upwards in the economy.
Before launching Harvest, Sholape noticed a worrying trend that financial institutions were not targeting Nigerian women. Sholape teaches girls and women financial literacy through access to and use of financial services through knowledge.
On my marketing days, oh, we want to do this campaign. Let's look at the demographics. Male, female, female, male. Let's look at the top so clients, male, female. And I was wondering, because everywhere around me, I could see women breaking their backs, right? From the woman in the urban areas to the rural dwellers. And I was wondering what's happening. Why are they not adopting financial services so much? Why are they not, why are they on the fringes? right? So it was just important, and I've always been very impact driven. So it was just important that, I start, because I started doing a lot of research. So I realized a lot of research had been done. So people were doing research and dropping, oh, this is the number. Oh, Nigeria is the only West African country on the priority list of financial exclusion, right? That is for gender, right? Ghana was there before Ghana moved on. Then we are there with India, Bangladesh, and all of that. And they're wondering, why is Nigeria still here? So someone just had to do something, not just tell the story, not just state the numbers, not just quote the numbers or statistics, but do something to shrink that gender gap.
Each startup has its challenges.
First, poor state of infrastructure. So by infrastructure, talking about digital and physical infrastructures. Talents too, right? We're losing a lot of talents to the West. It's painful when you look at it, because we have amazing, like a wide, capacity as a country, raising talent, but then we lose the same talents in the same breath. But I'll say that tech is a great leveler. Funding is the biggest challenge. So, I'm sure that a lot of people would say, oh, well, that's about a major challenge for most businesses too. But I think it's twice hard for me personally as a female founder and a first-time founder, right? A lot of doors are just, shut when it comes to funding. But we believe that with the right stakeholders, with government, individual investors, and all of that, we'll be able to crack the funding code. But it's been really hard funding the business. That is, funding the women, funding the business itself, building structures, building the infrastructures that we need to power the business. It's been so hard, quite tough.
Shalape's goal in the next 5 years is to empower women in the Nigerian market. It's obvious that tech is hard, but with the right amount of resilience, women can achieve anything.
Okay, so I'll just quickly add to that, our goal is that in the next 5 years, base case, right, would have served 500,000 women. So when it's 500,000 women, we're looking at 350,000 women on the supply side of a business and 150,000 smallholder female farmers. And we believe that number is possible because our addressable market is 57 million working women in Nigeria alone, right? And that's just looking at the Nigerian market. But when we look at the other markets we're looking at, for instance, we're looking at, other African markets by next year. So it's possible, and this will be measured, and we'll be sharing with the public, our impact and its measurements. So I'll just say for upcoming techpreneurs, I keep telling them, I said, let no one tell an African woman that it can't be done. Let nobody look at an African girl and say, no, you can't do it. You're an African girl. Come on. The customs, everything is, tilted against you. Kick them right in the middle, right? Put a fist right in its face, because we grew up, a lot of us grew up resilient, right? We had to clear away the thorns and make way for ourselves. So it's hard. It's double hard. So tech is hard, right? It looks glam out there, but it's really hard, trust me. Because I say, especially the infrastructure, you're working with a string of codes. That's why I tell people, right? Something can break somewhere. It works now, then we all drive cars. A car takes you somewhere, and then you want to go home. It isn't working again, and you're wondering what happened. So much more string of codes from one point to another. Something is not returning, and you have to fix it. So you just have to also immerse yourself in the problem. It's important to walk in the shoes of whatever problem you want to solve. It's very, very key. I would say secondly, you just have to, the starter pack, you have to come in very, very resilient. So many days. There are some days I still can't feel like, where do I draw the line here? So many days, you have that feeling, but you got to keep going on. And then, thirdly, I would say that it's possible that it gets to places where it looks as if, you're not wanted at the table. It's okay, but it's fine to create your own table, right? And, but whatever you do, be less concerned about the glam, be less concerned about the glitz, but be more concerned about the problem you're solving for. Be driven, be mission driven, be impact driven, and the rest, will come with it.
Nigerian women are believed to care more for their parents and as such are in the best position to teach them financial literacy and retirement plan.
Okay, so I would say that typically the Nigerian woman, of course, suffers from the black tax more of that. I personally tagged it Ada syndrome, right? And that is, you see parents saying, I want more girls because girls take care of their parents. Men, when they take a partner or something, they don't, but the girls, oh my, and it's a good thing. And those are the things that we keep having conversations about in our community. Talk to your parents about money. What are their retirement plans? Do they want to live in with you? Do they want to, what's their pension, all of those conversations. Otherwise, what about your siblings? What do you want to do for them? How do you measure? Where do you stop? Because you realize that you just continue giving. You are trapped in that cycle where you can't even sustain yourself, and then you become dependent on another one. So all of these things are generational challenges that has plagued the African child, but more the African girl, because you are the Ada, you are the girl, you are the one who's supposed to be very nurturing always. But hey, you can do all of this with the awareness of knowledge, and that's why we say be grounded with financial in personal finance and in financial knowledge yourself. What's your net worth? That's how you can talk to parents, talk to partners, talk to people around you, okay, on making better financial decisions for themselves, for yourself, so that nobody becomes, they don't, and you know what they say about this thing that say, lean on me, no be press me die. So they don't lean on you and then, want to suffocate you. So you've just got to be financially sound. And those are the things that we teach in our community. Get yourself a tribe, like Harvest. And like I say, even if you don't use the platform, the insights, the tools that you gain from being a community member of Harvest is, is mind shifting, and every African girl, every African woman needs such to do better.